Hello there and welcome to another episode of Fishery. My name's Andy Mate and today we're doing something a little bit different. We're on the river, my favourite style of fishing. We're actually on the River Teme, which is owned by Docklow Pools where we were last time. They actually own a stretch. Oh, them pheasants, I tell you what. Good with the Sunday roast. So anyway, back to the fishing. Yeah, they've got two stretches of the River Wye, they've got two stretches of the River Teme, and they've got a stretch of the River Lug. Loads of fishing in, lots of sort of chub, barbel, dace, grayling. So what I'm going to be doing today is showing you the tactics needed, obviously to catch them fish. Light stick float work. I've got a heavier rod set up just in case there's a few sort of like, you know, gravelly areas, this, that and the other where the water's a little bit faster running. I'll show you the setups in more detail. Basically, it's just a nice sort of like roving adventure. I'll catch a few fish from one swim, decide when I've had enough, sort of like 10 or 15 minutes without a bite, that's when it's time to up sticks and move on to the next swim. There's actually 10 swims here, so you know, if you spend sort of 20 minutes on each one, that's about an hour, 2 hours. I've never been any good with maths. No, it's just one of them things. The way I like to fish the stick float, catch a few fish out of a swim and then just move on. It's a brilliant way of fishing. I'm going to put some more maggots in and hopefully them chub will be all snarled up in them in a sec. So without further ado, let's get on it. Yes! This one then, mate. Ooh. Fell off. Look at that. Beautiful little brownie. Bring this in. I don't know if you can see that. It's a beautiful little brown trout. Look at that. I had 5 or 6 trots down. Bumped a couple of fish, probably just small fish like these, you know, little dace and that. I've had a minnow. Minnows can be a bit of a problem this time of year, but just get the hook out of him, return him. There we go. Let him back. It's very important when you're letting river fish go as well to face them upstream and wait until they get their the oxygen back over the gills. If you just let him go, see he's ready, he's kicking a bit now. There we go. It's going off, that water's cold. Yeah, very important that you don't just put the fish back. Make sure they're getting all that oxygen over the gills, and then when they give that kick, they're free to go then. Let's get back in for another one. Oh, minnows. Rubbish, you little minnows. That's only trouble. This time of year, sort of coming out of summer into autumn, there's these little minnows. Now, generally, if they're there, there's not that many big fish there. Chub, because chub will actually feed on minnows, you know, quite regularly. So what I'm going to start doing is just feeding a little bit heavier with the maggots and try and, you know, draw some fish in. I've only had sort of like 7 trots down, so I'm not too bothered yet. As I say, with this style of stick float fishing, it's good to give each swim about 20 minutes, half an hour. That in that time, that's when you should be getting, you know, into sort of like some of the bigger fish. So next trot down after that brownie, another little game fish. I've got a beautiful grayling. Beautiful fish these are, and these are generally show fish, so where there's one, there's always more. And grayling, the beauty of grayling, they give their all in the fight. Is that pheasant come back again? Ugh. Yeah, they give their all in the fight, and they're constantly bending and twisting. So again, make sure when you're putting the fish back, you see I'm going to face him upstream, and as soon as he starts to give a bit of a kick, that's when you can let him go. I hope it kicks soon because the water's freezing. Ugh. You see, I'm not loosening my grip on him, he's kicking now, and he's off. Oh, he's staying by my waders. Might have to catch him again. Yeah, So that time, and every time I trot down, feed first, cast into it, and then feed behind it, so that your float is always travelling down with all the other loose offerings of the maggots. And that way, when the fish come into the feed, they don't think anything untoward, so they're just sort of like smashing into the bait. If yours is there, they're gonna nail it. Simple as that. To deter the minnows' advances, there's still odd minnows there. You know, you can try sort of double maggot as well, even treble maggot, certainly for the chub. Go into a bigger hook. Obviously the minnows, the mouths are that small, they can't get a bigger hook in their mouths. There's a few ways of, you know, avoiding them, but generally, you know, sort of coming into winter, you shouldn't be getting too many minnows anyway. And certainly when there's bigger fish coming into the swim, you won't get them at all. Catch some more. Trotting the stick float. Now, a lot of anglers would have heard about it, but you know, not many anglers know what it is. Basically, you know, if you only ever fish commercials, you're not fish rivers, you wouldn't have heard the term trotting. Basically, trotting is trotting the stick float down the river. Obviously, the river's flowing, so what we've got to do, rather than having your bail arm over, fixed onto your line, you've got to have it open so it can trot down the river. So, first things first, we've got to feed some bait, and then we're going to cast over the bait, and then we're going to feed some bait just behind it. Now, see what I'm doing, I'm letting the float go down initially with the same speed as what the river is, and then if I want to, I can sort of change things up. I can hold back slightly just so it's going sort of half pace. What I don't really want to do is completely stop it, because that doesn't look natural. What I want to do with that long hook length on, again, that's where that long hook length comes into play. Oh, little minnow. Oh, yeah, that long hook length, what that does, it allows that maggot to look and act nice and natural in the current, in the river. Basically, that long hook length is going to be wafting up and down, so it's going to be looking as natural as possible with a loose feed. So you can see we're quite a way down there when we've got that fish, and you know, that's what that trotting's all about, just searching the whole of your swim, basically. And it's just keeping that bait going in. So again, we feed first, cast into it, feed again behind it. Now we've got that minnow by slowing it up slightly that time, so what I'm going to do now, and it's usually when you get the chub, if you let it go through full pace, I'm still going to try and keep that line behind my float, which is important. What I don't want is sort of like a bend coming off left and right off my float. I want to try and make sure that that line's behind it all the time. If you get a bend, what happens when you go to strike, you're striking against sort of like the bow in your line, so you don't get a true strike direct to the float. Whereas when your line's directly behind your float, obviously when you're striking, you're straight into the fish. And missed a bite. Ooh, probably a minute. So I'll put some more bait in. But you can see it's a fabulous way of fishing. You're constantly exploring. You know, you swim all the time. I'll be moving my float up and down as well. I know I'm about right depth at the minute. I come 4 inches shallower just before, because I was picking up the bottom quite a bit. It's only shallow here. It's only like 3.5, 4 foot. But what I'll do every now and again, I'll just bring it a little bit shallower, sometimes go a little bit deeper and just trip the bottom. So now I'm right at the end of the swim. I can just about pick my float out in the bubbles on top of the river. But that is a long way down there. I can't really pick it out anymore with them bubbles. So I'm going to bring it back and just start again. So we had that bite that time, probably a minnow, but it's the beauty of fishing, we're straight back on it again. Keep that bait going in, and as long as you're keeping that feed going in, what you're doing, you're constantly bringing fish up. I mean, basically this river's just going on and on and on, so I could potentially draw fish up from 1, if not 2 swims down. Usually what happens, you'll catch the small fish to start with, the ones that are present in your peg, and then the bigger fish will move in, because they naturally come to the commotion. It's just like a commercial. You know, when you're catching lots of silverfish, you need them in your swim ideally, because they'll attract the bigger fish. They're naturally inquisitive. They like food like me. So feed again, cast into it, feather it down so it's going nice and straight, and then feed behind me. Right, another tip as well, incidentally, so you can see where the faster water's going, where that white water is on the far side. Now at the minute I'm in the slightly slackish water. Most of my fish have come off this slightly slackish water, and that's what you'll find. Usually most of your fish are sort of like, oh, I missed another bite, but it's probably a minute. Usually most of the fish are in between sort of the fast and the slowish water. I mean, experiment on the day. You know, sometimes we'll be right in the softer water, you know, the slacker water. Other times, usually in the summer when there's more, when there's more, you know, sort of oxygen in the water, they want to be in the rapids, in the right fast water, but you won't know that until you start fishing. The main thing is, as with all styles of fishing, is keeping that bait going in. It's so important. I can't stress the importance of that enough. Keep it going in. So we've had sort of 2 bites that time down. Again, probably minnows. When it's like a proper fish, a decent fish, usually you hook it. You do miss the odd bite, especially off fast biting fish like grayling and dace, you know, things like that. You will miss bites just because of how they feed. They're really fast. But I'd imagine today, because we've had quite a few minnows, I'd imagine the bites that we're missing would be minnows or liners, because I don't miss proper bites. Come on, you know me by now, we don't miss proper bites here. Right, time to try a double maggot. Fabulous fishing this, and this is why I love rivers so much. We've had a fish every trot down. I've had 12 trot downs. I've had a bite or a fish every go down. Just got another grayling on here. Wet your hands first, and we'll go in for him. Is that plane coming back over as well? Look at that. Beautiful grayling. Now you can actually tell the difference between a male and a female grayling. I mean, these are only sort of like small juvenile fish yet, but basically the male's dorsal fin is much more pronounced, a lot longer down its body. And the female, this is a female one, it's a lot smaller. Basically what the grayling are doing, you know, as you hook into them, they're sort of like twisting and turning and using that fin all the time in the current. They're fantastic fighters. And they smell like cucumber too. Ooh! Right, get this one back. Beauty. Eesh. Again, make sure I point it upstream. See it kicking there. So he's nearly ready. There you go. Off they swim for another day. White maggot seems to be doing the business today. Well then, I was just cursing the minnows because I've had like 10 one after another. And then we're going to snare something nicer. Probably another grayling. Just going a little bit further out, just so we can get into sort of like, not deeper water, but that faster water. Oh, that's a lovely grayling, that. That's a lovely grayling. Should be netting it really, shouldn't we? Let's wet our hands. Look at this coming in here. Oh, look at that beauty. Oh, how can you not get excited about catching fish like that? Oh, what a stunner. What an absolute stunner. Another female one by the look of it. As I say, on a male one, that dorsal fin is much more pronounced, sort of like down its body. Let's go and give you a closer look. Look at that beautiful fish, you know, look at how wiry it is, twisting and turning all the time, and that's what they do when you hook into them. They turn on the side, put that big dorsal up and use the current to their advantage. Let's get her back for another day. Oosh. Again, face her upstream until she starts kicking. Get that oxygen going over the gills. Have I mentioned how cold this water is? Oh, I'll tell you what. Come on, Mrs. Grayling. It's too cold. There she goes, she's off. Let's go and catch her again. So that's probably about my 20th minnow in about 20 casts, so it's definitely time to move now. We'll probably be in here about half an hour. We've had quite a few grayling, that nice brownie, but plenty more swims down there, so let's go and try another one. The all-important setups then. So for this style of fishing, it's very important that you're travelling nice and light. I've basically got 2 setups. I've got a heavy float, just in case I encounter either sort of a slow moving, deeper swim, and basically one for trotting in sort of shallow water, you know, over rapids and this, that and the other. The floats are similar, they're sort of alloy stemmed. Let's go through the first setup now. This will be my main setup. So what I've got is a nice small reel, just like your traditional Wagner reel, sort of like a 2.5 to 3,000 size. That's got 0.20 line on it. Now, usually, certainly for waggler fishing, I'd be on something a little bit of a finer diameter, so the friction for your rod rings, but I know what some of these chubs are like, and especially if there's a chance of a barbel or two as well, I want to make sure that I'm fishing fairly heavy. So it's 0.20 diameter. There shouldn't be any trouble at all with that line going through the rod rings, because the river's going to take the pace of the float through anyway. Now, coming on to the actual float itself, just let me talk you through the rod actually. It's a 13-foot light waggler, so although it says light waggler, it's very, very soft in the tip action, but it can power up a lot through sort of like the middle section, so very important that. There's lots of fish like dace, grayling, little chublets, and you don't want to be pulling out of them. You know, when you first hook into them, they'll give it like that bit of a wriggle, so if your rod's too heavy, then you'll pull out of them. But should I encounter a chub, I've got plenty of backbone to oosh them out of the snags. Right, onto the setup itself then. So we've got a nice long hook length, again sort of 12-inch hook length. It's 0.14 diameter, and we've got a small 16 hook on. I'll be changing between sort of single and double maggot on that. Okay, so at the loop of the line there, we've got 2 number 8 shots or stots, it doesn't really matter. And then I've got a series going up the line, probably about 8 or 9 or something like that. 8 or 9 groups of number 8 shot. I've initially set the float around sort of 3.5 to 4 foot, but that'll change obviously depending on how deep or how shallow the swim is. Now coming to the all important float, this is a 6x number 4 alloy stem stick float. For these particular waters, these are the ones that I favour more. The lighter ones are 4 number 4s. Sometimes your bait can, you know, sort of like go all over the place, and certainly if there's a few more rapids, then your bait's not getting down to where the fish are. So you want something that's a little bit more stable. So that's why I've gone for this. Now the whole essence of stick float fishing is obviously that it's attached sort of top and bottom end, whereas obviously waggler fishing is attached bottom end only. So if you were to fish a waggler on a fast pacey river like this, as soon as you sort of like go to hold your line back, you know, to mend it, your float's going to be going under. So that's why you've got to use a stick float rather than your traditional waggler setup. As I said, we've got three rubbers on that, so that's easy, you know, nice and easy. I can move that up and down the line, changing the depths to suit. So that's that setup, nice and easy. As I said, I don't like to complicate things. All my fishing, you know, there's nothing complicated with it. Because if it was complicated, I wouldn't understand it. And I'm not the brightest, to be fair. Potatoes! Right, onto the other setup. So, this rod's a little bit longer. This is more designed for sort of, you know, deeper rivers, sort of bigger rivers. But should I encounter, you know, a swim that's fairly deep, then this is what I'll go to. Probably won't need it today, but I've got it just in case. Different reel on. This is a closed face reel for maximum control. They're absolutely brilliant. Very underused these days, but I've still got mine. I've got loads in the garage. They're brilliant. The rod's a little bit longer as well, you know, it's sort of 16 to 18 foot. This is set at 16 foot at the minute, and again, it's very soft in the tip action, but it powers up through the middle. Right, so different shotting pattern. So what we've got on this one, again, we've got the same long hook length, 12-inch hook length, 0.14 diameter, and a 16 hook, but you'll notice the shotting is different straight away. Just at the top of the loop to loop, we've got one single number 6 shot. And then just above that, look at all them bad boys. Whoa, we've got 4 AAAs there and just a number 4 just underneath it, just to trim that float right down. That's probably what, it's around sort of 18, 20 inches away from the hook, so it's very positive. Bulk's going straight down, and then this number 6 is coming down into where the fish are. And then going up, this is probably set about 5 foot this. We've got an alloy Avon float. It's more sort of like your typical bolo float. It's a 3 gram this one at the minute. Obviously you can change it in an instant again with the rubbers on, and that's the beauty of it. So I probably won't need to use this rig today, but as I said, we've got it just in case. So let's get that out of the way, and then we'll just go through the bait, which is nice and simple. All we've got a couple of pints of maggots in there. That'll do you, well, that'll do more than enough. The thing with sort of chub fishing is you've got to feed it quite heavy sometimes. Obviously the colder it gets, they won't have as much food, but I just love chub because they're like me, they absolutely love food. So you've got to keep putting that bait in little and often, which is obviously what we'll go to later on. So a good sort of 2 pints of maggots, that'll do you, you know, sort of 2 or 3 hours session. We've got a selection of floats in my little bag as well. You know, we've got loads of different kind of floats in there. You know, should like the wind change or something else happen, get snagged and lose the rig. Not that that ever happens. How dare you even suggest it? But, you know, loads of little things like that. We've got spare shots, got spare hooks, I've got a disgorger on me. Incidentally, landing nets as well. Although I've got chest waders on, so I can get quite well out into the water, and I'll hopefully bring most of the fish into my hand today. There's some banks where it's really steep on a lot of these little rivers, and you know, real soft sort of silt that you're standing into, so it's not ideal. So ideally, what you need is a nice long landing net handle. Something like this 4-metre Mac Parabolics is absolutely essential in my opinion. And also, just let me show you the difference in the landing net. So in sort of previous episodes of Fishery, you'll have seen me use a real fine mesh landing net, sort of somewhat similar to this if I was herring and this, that and the other. But these landing nets are what you want for rivers. They're a slipstream landing net, so they actually cut through the water when you're going to net the fish. There's no drag whatsoever in them. They're absolutely essential in my opinion. Other than that, I think we're ready to go. So I'm going to get some maggots all snarled up in my bait apron. Do I look nice and do I look the part, don't I, and everything? And I'm going to go and snare some chubs and barbels and daces and graylings and brownies and roach and rudd and skimmers and everything. I'm going to snare them all. So join me on the bank and let's see how we get on. Yeah! Yes! Second shot down and we got another one. I think it's a little dace or a grayling or something. It might be a little chublet. I'm going to bring it that round that way. See how I'm feeding? Even though I'm playing a fish, I'm still feeding. Just keep that bait going in. Just keep them fish interested. Ooh, it's another little chublet. Yes! Look at these beauties here. Oh, look at them. Beautiful little things, them, aren't they? Absolutely perfect. Fin, scale, perfect. Let's get a, I reckon we should get a closer look at this one. I'm going to bring it over and show you what maggots in the back of its throat actually. Let's have a look. So I brought him in for a closer look for you. Look at that. I think we've hit on a bit of a gold mine on this swim. Our third swim, 2 trot downs, 2 little baby chubs. And this one, look, you can see right down its throat, it's absolutely full of maggots, and it just goes to show how greedy these fish are. That's why I love them so much, because me and these are the same. You know what I mean? If I come back as a fish, I'd definitely come back as a chub, because I love my food too. Double red maggot seems to be doing a business today. Let's get this beauty back. Yes, this is what we're coming for. These big daddy chubs. I'm just giving it a load of stick, get it away from them trees. Let's get some more bait in. So that's third trot down, third chub. Oh, this is a big one. It's proper snaring up into them trees. As soon as it sees me, he's not going to be happy. Trust me, he's not going to be happy in a set when it sees me. But he's going to have to see me, because I want to show him to all of you lovely people. Come on, you beauty. Well, you can see the bend in that rod. He's proper giving it some, this one. Oh, here he comes. Whoa, look at that in that water. Oh, that's proper angry, that. That is proper angry. Ooh, look at this. Bestest fish in the world coming up. Bestest fish in the world, right. Yes! Right there. Look at that beauty. Now that does not get any better for me. That is the best thing in the world. This style of fishing, catching them, oh, it just brings back so many memories when I was a kid. Let's have a closer look at him, eh? Yeah! Are you ready? Are we ready to see this? Oh, look at this. Oh. As I say, bestest fish in your wide world for me. Just does not get any better than a dirty great big daddy chub like that. It's probably 3.5 pound. Absolutely stunning fish. Just, oh, lots of words. I never thought we'd catch one actually. Obviously, with the water being fairly low, clear, temperature wise it doesn't really matter for chub. I'm just going to put it back in the landing net. Temperature wise it doesn't really matter for chub, because they love feeding in cold water and that, but we're catching so many minnows, you just knew something wasn't right. You shouldn't be catching minnows if there's chub there. So come onto this swim, and just behind me there where I'm trotting the maggots down, there's like a raft of trees in that, and that's obviously where the chub are. Because I don't know if I mentioned 3 trots down and 3 chub on this swim. I aren't moving from here. I'm going to catch me some more of these bad boys. Yeah! Yes! There's a few fish here, that's for sure. 5 trots down, 5 fish. What's this one? Another little chub. Oh, it's a grayling. Oh, nice. Lovely little grayling. Look at them wiry beauties. Look at him. Yeah, twisting and turning. Oh, I think we've definitely hit on a bit of a goldmine with this swim, haven't we? Beautiful. Let's keep that bait going in. Catch some more. A little grayling. Yes! A beautiful little grayling. I'll change some white maggots for that one. Best chub bait of all time, white maggots, my personal favourite. Beautiful little grayling. The proper in, them hooks. Put him back upstream and there he goes. Right then, I think I'm going to carry on for about another sort of half an hour. The light's beginning to go a little bit now. I'm going to carry on, see if we can snare some more of them dirty great big chubs. Hope you've enjoyed it. There's loads of little rivers like this around for you to try. Come on, it's whetted your appetite, hasn't it? Come on, admit it. You just want to get out and give it a go, don't you? As I said, there's so many of these little rivers around all over the country. Get out and give them a go. Don't forget to upload your catch reports to the Fishery.co.uk website, and until next time, where I don't know where I'll be next time. We'll have a think about it, can't we? Until then, cheerio, I'm going to catch some more chubs.